tell him very candidly that Rigathi Gachagua has listened to me do political debates even when he was in government. I was here when I used to support and talk very boldly of the Azimio party, of the Azimio coalition. And I have always been an independent minder because I am not going to conform to that structure that you have to say this because if you don't say this, this is going to happen. I'm going to say what needs to be said. Sifuna is the guy that we as young people, we cannot ignore. They also can't ignore. Linda Mwananchi rallies are the only movements that you'll never see any political party colors. But people show up. And I want to tell him, huko UDA, kama hana kichele, and if he's not making money, please, as young people, we are going to look at you very badly in future. When we don't see you with a G-Wagon and some class 2 dropout has one, yet you guys were in the same party, it's going to be very bad.
Angel, it did not escape my notice that you mentioned Sifuna quite a number of times, even more than you mentioned your party leader. And I also want to understand how you perceive this phenomenon, this Sifuna's phenomenon. How does it play out for you as a leader?
Fred, in all shape and sense, all factors held constant. Even when you remove things about tribal politics, where I'm from and my last name, I honestly think that the winning ticket for 2027 should be Matiang'i Sifuna. Matiang'i and Edwin. And not Edwin Jage, for the avoidance of doubt. I mean Edwin Sifuna. Matiang'i and Sifuna. Number one, because I think that Matiang'i is a no-nonsense leader. He has shown that he's not playing politics the way they have traditionally been played. He does not bow down to mediocrity. And he will ensure that things work. I think for him, that's how his mind works. And he doesn't understand even or entertain the kind of politics that we do. He challenges me quite a lot as my presidential candidate. Sifuna is another man, and by Edwin, I mean Edwin Sifuna, that guy has demonstrated that he can fight when things are popular and unpopular. These are the kind of leaders that we want. These are the kind of leaders that I emulate, and I would want to showcase even to the people of Kiambu. Get people who are ready to say no when it is good and when things are good or when things are bad. Not for you to go to parliament toilets and take 10,000 shillings and vote yes. Because now we can look at all the other things that we want to look at for a member of parliament or for a leader, a national leader. But when it matters most, the people of Kenya are asking you, when we were voting for the finance bill, why did you abstain? They're asking that question. So abstaining is no longer a very comfortable thing by
fence sitting.
Abstaining or not being present when you would rather vote yes or you vote no. If you vote yes, there are consequences for that. If you're voting no, there are also consequences for that. And I think that's the Kenya that we want. 5 years from now, when Edwin Jage will be wanting to run for president in this nation, I will remind him how he threw his generation under the bus today. I will not forget. And the internet does not forget. And that's why I'm telling him he needs to change very quickly. By Sunday, he needs to be in Nyandarua with his brother Edwin Sifuna to ensure that we fight for our nation, because our country we need a nation where we are able to use our papers to be able to access opportunities, not your last name, not who you know. And we are getting to see that our country is getting into an area where if you are not in government, you are not wealthy. There are progressive and progressed nations where if, let's say, for example, in the United States, when Trump was elected president, there are people who did not subscribe to Trump's agenda in the government in the US government. They resigned and went to do other things. Because there's a whole industry in the US of the private sector, there's the non-profit sector, you can go and do business, you can go and do films in Hollywood. Here in Kenya, if you do not become an MCA, if you don't become the CEC of Treasury or Youth or Environment, you are nothing. Or you don't become someone in parliament or someone in the executive. That mentality must change. We cannot be creating wealthy people from government. That should not be the case. Even when Barack Obama was being elected to president, he was taking a huge pay cut from his law practice before he set himself out to serving the public. Taking a huge pay cut. Here in Kenya, you take an upgrade, even if you're leaving the private sector to come into the public sector.
And do you feel Sifuna is a best personification of that kind of ideal leadership?
I think Sifuna has sacrificed a lot. I don't even think he knew this would come. We've become a nation where we deject people, we throw them under the bus, like what the ORPP has just rubber-stamped that his removal was legal and clearly defined by the ODM constitution. And the same thing has happened to Rigathi Gachagua. He fought so much to be retained as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. But in real sense, he has become one of the best demonstrators of how walking out of a rogue regime can actually give you the blessing that you've never seen.
But generally, do you feel that this phenomenon, this Sifuna phenomenon, is generally acceptable? Right now, you're saying Linda Mwananchi is going to Olkalau. Do the young people of Olkalau identify with that? The same thing you're feeling. Do you think that people, mashinani, young people, I'm not talking about the older voters, identify with that? Please answer that question as